Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. We have Lola here today, and we are going to be talking all about being single. I'm super, super excited for this topic. Listen, there's always transitions in life, right? We go from single to married, from married to divorced. We go from single to dating, from dating to breaking up. There's transitions everywhere in life. And I
Yep.
know that a lot of you are going through transitions when it comes to your relationship. So this is going to be awesome. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sabrina Victoria. I am the host here at Her Talk Show. If you have not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's jump right in.
Get ready because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
Hello, if you're listening live, I see you jumping on live. Thank you so much
Yep.
for being here. If you're watching on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love. Listen, we have had over 600 women grace this stage. We are adding Lola to that list today, and we are super excited. Lola is a Nigerian American, a single mother of two. She loves dancing, reading, watching movies, and talking, obviously, which is why she's on this podcast today. She loves God and good things in her life, and she loves to empower women to be their best selves and advocate for themselves. Welcome, Lola.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. I'm so excited to be here. I was dancing while your jingle was playing.
I love it. We're feeling the vibrations.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
awesome. Well, I love that you are here and you are bringing a little bit of a twist. You're from Nigeria. And, there's some different stereotypes going on over in that arena that we don't see a lot of over here in America. So I'm super excited to jump into this and just to kind of have you give us insight, right? This is how we learn. This is how we realize, the differences, the culture when we're meeting and greeting people from all over the world.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sabrina. There is, of course, stereotyping, and I know a lot of people watched Bob Hart Abishala on CBS, and every time people see me, I'm like, "Where are you from?" I'm from Nigeria. Oh, do you watch Bob Hart Abishala? I'm like, "Oh Lord." Yes, there are some stereotypical issues, especially when it comes to women and our culture. Our culture is one that is very rigid,
Mm,
if I can say,
yeah.
if I can use that word. And I'm speaking, from my personal experiences and from the experiences of ladies that have been around me. You know, my culture is in a place where your parents raise you to have very high standard.
Mm,
It's a very high standard. And one of it is you must, it is not an iffy, you must be educated.
mm.
You know, there
Like,
is no wiggle way, you must. I'm
wow.
sure I think I can beat my chest and say 98% of Nigerians will tell their kids, you have no choice but to go to school. Mm.
Wow.
Yes. And that is like hand down from generation to generations, and that I think it's a plus, but sometimes it's too rigid. We have to give wiggle way. And some of the stereotypical cultural belief again is that you must be married. I mean, it's expected. And when you're married, you must have children, So those are expected. They are just, it's like it's seamless. It just come culturally, like naturally, with our belief system and our upbringing. So growing up as a girl, I believed I have to get married. And there is this belief that when you're in marriage, it is for better, for worse.
Mm, mm.
You stay in
When
there.
when did your first of all, as you were growing up, was there any shifting in your world where you mentally didn't really agree? Or were you like straight and arrow, like, this is my life, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have children, and I'm so excited? Where were you mentally?
I'm smiling because I have always been one that question everything. thing my parents says. Why
Mm.
do we have to do this? Okay, what if, like I always question people. I'm always, and my mom is always upset with me, like, okay, I know you're gonna ask questions, you better shh, you know. So, but I love. I've
Mm.
always desired to be married. I've always desired, like, just to be married to someone that loves me, someone I love, and someone will raise kids together, we'll be happy together, we'll grow our empire together. But, life happens.
Mm.
And most of the time, life throws you lemon or lime, you make lemonade out of it.
Mm.
And relocating to the United States, I never knew the guy I married from Adam. I met him here, and 6 months into the relationship, we were married. And yeah, it was good. And I think I would say that I enjoyed the marriage for the first 2 years, and things started going down the drain 2, 3 years after marriage. First, in the Nigerian community, we have to understand that the parents are involved. So when you're getting married in Nigeria, you're not just marrying the man, you're marrying his family.
Mm.
And his family perceive you as the wife. So there is this cultural belief that the wife has to do certain things for the husband's family to be accepted. If she's not accepted by the in-laws, then she has an issue.
Mm. What are some of those things?
Like, you have to be very respectful, depending on your in-laws family, depending on their exposure level. Or there are certain ways we greet in my culture. As a woman, you kneel down to greet. When they want to eat, you bring out, wash hand bowl, water in a bowl, and give it to them. You cook for them. You don't call them by their first name. There are certain ways, there are certain beliefs, there are certain ways you can talk, especially to the family that I was married to. They were very, very stereotypical about that. You have to be in a certain way. You can't talk like that. You can't dress like that. No, that's not how you cook for. It's a lot of external family involvement in the marriage. And yeah, in Nigeria, that's the norm. That's expected.
Mm.
And most of the time, I know that sometimes you live with the families, and they tell you to do whatever. You wash, you do their laundry, you do the dishes, you do the cooking, you do everything. Even if there is a party, you, as the wife, do most of the cooking, do most of the runnings, as expected, which I want to believe that's not the norm. It's still the norm, but not all the way like it used to be. So getting married and finding myself in a family that was not really accepting of me because I was kind of too westernized, kind of too noish, if I can use that word. Um, and getting married to a man that I would say has some self-esteem issues going and does not really know who I was, you know, created a lot of hiccup along the way, the family interference and all of that. And most of the time in Nigeria, the man usually would dance with the family. Yes, yes. And there was a lot of under the bus throwing, just throwing me out, putting me out there, throwing me under the bus and all of that. And it was a relationship that was toxic emotionally,
Mm.
psychologically.
Mm.
There wasn't any moral support. If there was, maybe very little. When you think you're having a headway and you're happy, and then you just see him just come out with this attitude, just like, I'm kind of jealous, I'm kind of this, you know. Yes, I'm a wild woman.
I
you
love
know, I'm kind of jealous, and you know, and I am someone that when I am in a relationship with you, I go all in. I deviated from my mother's upbringing in a way that I love love. I believe in love. I want to be loved. I want to love someone. And I don't want to have to hide it.
it. Mm.
Some Nigerian men are not they don't display emotions. They're very
Mm.
stoic, very proud, if I can say, have a certain standard that even the kids, I feel bad for my kids sometimes that, oh my God, why would you let them go through this? But, everything happened and I knew, I think it got to a point in my relationship with him that I knew that it will last.
Mm.
But I didn't want to take this step because as a Nigerian girl and as a Christian woman, understanding what it meant to be divorced and how God perceived divorce, I was praying because I didn't want to have a broken home, with all the research out there about children from single parent home and broken home and all of that. And I just figured that, okay, things will fall in place. And thank God, things fell in place. He went to file for divorce, which is not something common amongst Nigerian. He went to file for divorce, and I was super duper excited and happy that he did. I
Wow.
tell you, even when I told my friends were like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like I was practically dancing, celebrating that he did that, that this marriage was over. Because to me, I felt like I was in bondage.
Mm.
I felt shackled. I couldn't turn, I couldn't talk, I can't be myself. And I felt like I wasn't my potential, I wasn't getting to my full potential. And he helped me, he led me out of the relationship. And that was really exhilarating for me. But it comes with its challenges. It comes with its challenges in my culture, in my community, which I really don't associate with the Nigerian community, but sometimes I find myself, you know, in the Nigerian community, it's kind of like a stigma.
Mm.
Oh, she's single again. Oh no, don't let her go near your husband. Like, what happened? What did she do? The whispering and the way the looks. Nigerians have a way we look at you when we are very displeased. You would know. We don't hide it. you
Mm.
know, we have a way we'll just be like, we just we can't hide it. So I had to process that, the stigmatization on me, on my kids, and a lot of and I don't like pity party. I don't want people to like, oh, oh, we're sorry. And they may come out and say they're sorry, but behind you they're saying something else. So I have to really pull myself by my bootstrap and just keep it moving. Like, yeah, people will talk. Yeah, some people in the church community will talk, but I don't give a hoot. I just don't give a hoot. I have to move on with my life. The relationship was toxic. It wasn't healthy for me and my kids. And I didn't file for the divorce. He did. And for whatever reason he did, I have to move on. And then I had to think of breaking the news to my kids, which was kind of very emotional because he had already done some damaging job on the kids, providing them information that wasn't true. So I had to go through the pain of explaining to them what happened. And just to put it lightly, I just told my kid, okay, your daddy fired me.
Mm.
So my son was like, what does that mean? you know Unknown to me, he told him that, oh, I divorced him. It's a lot of lies, a lot of deceit, a lot of narcissistic behavior, a lot of it was a lot of controlling in the relationship. If anybody out there knows any Nigerian men, Nigerian men like to be in control.
Mm.
you know and if they are not getting the control, and if they think they're losing the control, they resort to something. And I was glad he filed for divorce. He filed for divorce when he was becoming physical, which was really good for me. I would say a blessing for me that I had to leave the relationship. And it was so severe that my kids witnessed it. And I had a son, and I have a son. I don't want him to grow up in an environment like that. Neither do I want my daughter to grow up in an environment like that. So it was an emotional, bump for me and the kids. But yay, we're here. I'm single again. So now I'm living my life, and I am enjoying every bit of it. There are some emotional roller coaster, there are low days and there are high days. And I think another thing that helped me, and I say this, I was somebody's podcast some times ago, I think last week, and I say this, we're talking about coping skills as a Nigerian American. Africans don't believe in therapy. When you mention therapy or counseling, that means you're cuckoo. Like, are you really crazy or mad? Like, what's going on with you? Why would you go to therapy? What do you want to go and do in therapy? We don't believe in it. So therapy really helped me, and I am in that profession, and I do understand the importance of talking with somebody else, especially a professional, making sure my kids also see professionals to help them normalize their emotion, regulate emotions and normalize what they're feeling. That this happens when you're going through, when your parents are going through divorce. That really helped me. And I have a huge support system. My friends are the best, I would say. They rally around me. I was surprised. They rally around me. I wasn't anyway, because I know I'm someone like that as well. They rally around me and they supported me. And I was kind of exposing myself to, you know, learn to know more, asking questions from people that have been in that position or that went through it. Some of them now remarried, some of them still single. Like, how do you do this? How do you maneuver this? How do you raise children when you're a single parent? How do you discipline children? How do you know, help children so that they won't feel detached from you, so that they won't feel like, okay, nobody wants them? Because I remember my daughter thought she was actually one of the reasons why we divorced. My daughter thought, oh, was it because of me, mommy? And I said, no, it wasn't you. It wasn't anything you do, you know. And another thing in the Nigerian community is this is a topic we don't talk about, and this going through that really motivated me to start my own podcast, Single Again with LFA and Bab. It really motivated me to kind of like, hey, Nigerian Americans don't do this. In the Nigerian community, we are hush about it, we stigmatize each other, but no, it's okay to go through it. It's a process, like you said at the beginning of the show. We all go through transition. Some don't experience the transition of divorce, but some of us do. And when you do, take it on with pride and enjoy every bit of it. This is a new phase, because I was talking with someone. I said, it is different when you were single and never married, and then you got married, and then you got single again. It is so, 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 so different. It is super different. It's not like when I was single before I got married. Now I am single with my baggage. I have two wonderful children, you know. So how do I maneuver this? And my kids will ask me some questions sometimes. I'm like, okay, I don't know how to answer this question, but I'm thinking this is what we should do. And I honestly think this is very strange in my um, community. And I just want to encourage a lot of African born women that are going through the same thing to come out and let's support each other. There is power in two, but there isn't much power in one. It's not a journey we can walk alone. And like I told you earlier on before the podcast started, that I listened to your interview with Diana. I think that's her name. And I really did get some resources from her when she was talking about the divorce magazine. That was something I never really knew existed. Nigerian women are strong. We have a strong personality, and we come to the table prepared, and but in our relationship, most of the time we are silenced. And that's because sometimes some of our men don't want us to be heard, but just be seen. And that is a culture I think we should improve on, that should be in the Stone Age, I would say. you know. So I just want to empower women out there, especially African born women that are going through the same thing I'm going through, that it's okay for you to experience it. There is a lot of challenges, financial challenge, answering question, how do I maneuver this? How do I present myself so that people don't look at me, even if I am being stigmatized because I'm single? I tell people I don't care, and really I don't. It's not by choice that I'm single, but I find myself single and I love it, and I'm enjoying every every bit of it.
When you talk about therapy and that it's not really something that Nigerian individuals believe in, what were some of the takeaways that you have gotten? What have you learned from therapy where you're very grateful that you did jump in?
I am super grateful that I went and talked with a professional because I'm also a therapist myself. And we have the tendency to be superficial, especially going into therapy. So it really made me like, and I'm going to use this illustration because that was what I did physically yesterday. My purse, I had to turn it out and just, shake everything out. So it really made me go in and ask myself, am I really coping or am I being superficial about all of this because I am in that field myself, you know. So it made me see myself from a different perspective. The table was turned, I was on the other end and listening to someone and sharing with someone that is completely a stranger, you know. It made me know how to self-regulate when the kids need something or I am stressed, and instead of them going to daddy's not there, and they coming to me, and I have my own stress already, and instead of me snapping and yelling at them and just being aggressive towards them, misplacing my emotion and anger on them, it made me learn that it is not them, it is me. So it makes me to appreciate and accept that it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to cry. It's okay. These are things I tell people. But when it comes to me experiencing that on my own, I find it difficult to accept. But hearing someone tell me, reassuring me that it's okay to go through all of those emotions, which of course you can't escape it. And when you go through them, these are the coping skills you use. So that really helped me to practicalize the things I advise people to do, and I suggest hearing it from someone else to do it myself.
Yeah, we have a ton of people watching live right now. They're obviously resonating with what you're saying. Can you give an example to those listening right now of a tool that you use to self-regulate? Like, what is something like a step that you could teach us that you do with your kids or on your own to help regulate maybe fear or anger or anxiety or whatever, might be coming up for you?
I think one thing that really helped me is being very open and communicative with my kids. When I'm feeling any kind of way, I verbalize it.
Mhm.
Guys, mommy is not feeling fine right now. I remember something happened, I think November 17th. I go home. I was in the clinic and I just go home. This was later at night. And I just go home and I sat by the dining table. My dad is visiting, so he's with me. My dad was sitting at the head of the table. My youngest, my daughter, my oldest, was there. She came downstairs and was like, "Mommy, are you okay?" And I'm like, "No." And she asked what happened. And I told her that, hey, this was moved and it's really upsetting. So I am not in my best mood right now and I don't want anyone to bother me. And she just held my hands, and that was really, thinking about it now, it's bringing about the emotion. That was really important to me that my kids are supportive.
Mm.
She held my hands, and my younger one came and he rubbed my back, and
Mm.
she's like, "Mommy, it's okay." And I said, "I really feel like crying right now." So being able to express myself, being able to share the way I am feeling and encourage them to do the same thing with me really helped. And walking away, taking deep breath, and meditating also really helped me. And validating the emotions, acknowledge it, don't run away from it, don't feel like, oh no, that's just push it to the back burner. No, acknowledge the emotion, validate it, and take deep breath, because the emotions will always be there. And verbalize, share, talk with your children if children are involved. If children are not involved, have someone that you can share with, someone you can really be vulnerable with. And that really helped me.
What would the old Lola have done on November 17th with that same exact situation? Well, if you wouldn't have taken therapy and you didn't know how to self-regulate, maybe what would have happened?
Oh Lord, there will be hell in the house. I will be shouting, like throwing stuff around. I don't want to see anybody. Don't come near me. Why did you do it that way? Did you see that bit out? No, I would be everywhere.
Wow.
So realizing that, honestly, I was actually surprised myself that I was calm and I was able to verbalize that emotion and I was able to label it,
Yeah.
And that really, really helped. That really, really helped.
What kind of impact do you think that's having on your children, seeing this new Lola? How is this helping them?
It's helping them to know that they have a support person in me. It's helping them to understand that it's okay to be vulnerable and that your support will always be there for you, and it's helping them to see how I am coping. So it's empowering them to share that, okay, I feel like crying. Some days ago, my daughter came and she said, Mommy, I just want to share some things with you. Things that she can't even share with her therapist. And I asked her, did you share it with your therapist? She's like, no, she's not you. I'd rather share it with you. Making them see that I'm wide open. You can just come.
Yeah.
And that really means a lot to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Earlier, you were talking about how you felt shackled. You felt like you didn't have a voice when you were in your past relationship. And now, divorce, what are some changes that you're seeing as far as, yourself now and then stepping into a new relationship down the road? What are some things that you're never going to let go of? What are some like boundaries, I guess, that you are going to keep for yourself, now that you're single and into a new relationship, that you're not going to, allow to ever be taken away from you? What are some things that are important to you?
Well, as a single again person, honestly, I think in the past I really blurred my boundaries. I defer to him for everything. Now I am taking my power back. I am just going to, I can't, there are some things that no, this is a no-no for me. Things like deferring to you, absolutely. Nope. I can run some things by you. We can discuss it, but it doesn't change my mind. I'm still going to do what I want to do. If you like it, you stay. If you don't like it, you move on. Because in my past relationship, it really robbed me of my power. I gave it absolutely up. I gave it absolutely up. If I have to do anything, I have to ask him. If I have to go out, he has to permit me to have friends. And that's what I am not allowing now. No. This is me. This is my boundaries. I have friends. I have a lot of friends, and they are my support system, and I appreciate that. And you're not going to take that away. What I want, if you cannot do that, or this is what I need, if you cannot do that, yes, we can meet in the middle. There may be some wiggle ways because, of course, in relationships, it's give and take, right? But there are some things that I wouldn't.
Yeah. I know that you like to talk about finances. When you go into single momness, whether you get child support or don't get child support, there's issues. There's issues with that. You have two children and the court very rarely gives you what you actually need. And a lot of times as a married woman, a lot of times we're not working. So, then going into the workforce, and then what do you do with your children, and then daycare? I know your situation's a little bit different with that. However, what was your situation like? How are you coping with that? What's some advice that you have for women who are struggling in that arena?
Okay, first I have to say this. My divorce is still in process, you know, and yes, there are we had I think a custody issue, and that was sorted, and he was supposed to pay child support, which I just want to say is he is not compliant to anything. He is quite defiant, if I can say that, and yes, there will be child support, but again, I have to say this culturally. Typical Nigerian girl is raised to be independent.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you're raised to provide for yourself and not depend on the man.
Wow. I didn't know
There
that.
are expectations. The man is supposed to be the breadwinner and even take care of the home. But in my relationship, it was kind of 50-50, and sometimes I think I give more than I get. It's not, I think, I give more than I get, so being an independent woman, I worked. I remember in the early days of the marriage, I would work, go to school, raise an infant and a toddler, you know, and I still come home to cook. I still come home to do dishes. I still do laundry. I still keep the house clean. I still do all of those. So there is no support. Everything falls on the woman, So those are the things I was used to doing. So being single again I didn't miss him. I didn't miss anything that he did. I used to take the trash out, so it's not new to me. I take the trash out while he just sits there and watch TV or on his computer. You know, so it's not new. Financially, yes, it's really impacted me financially because now I have to pay my house rent or mortgage. Now I have to do a lot of things alone, which wasn't what was happening in the past. So it has a strain on me. And he's not compliant with even paying the child support. He pays whatever he wants, whatever he feels like, whenever he feels like it.
Mm.
You know. But going through the process, I would just suggest and advise every woman going through this process. Once you have your child support paper from the court, take it to the child support office so you don't have to deal with that mess. So
Mm.
that will be taken care of by the child support office.
Oh, you mean as far as getting the money?
Getting the money.
Got
Yes.
it. So you don't
Yes.
have to sit there and get a check or ask for the
Yes.
info or
Yes. And you don't have to wait on him and
got it.
expect him to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have to say, yeah, there are days that I have to be like, oh God, I wish I have extra support. So I have to take on extra jobs.
Yeah.
I have to take on extra part-time job. And I don't like the fact that I'll leave my kids. I won't be there for them on a few days when they come back from school. I love being there for them when they come back from school.
Mm.
I love talking about their day, even though we don't always eat together, but I am there watching them eat. I know
Yeah.
what they eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but because I have to pick up some extra shift here and there some days, some weeks. So it's really taken away from that. And I know a lot of women struggle with that a lot, a lot. So I just want to encourage women out there. If you have your court paper, take it to the child support office so you don't have to bother yourself about that. Whether he wants to pay or not, it will be paid.
Yeah, that's what my son or what we did too. It was just automatically taken out of his check and then
Yes.
dropped into my account. So I literally didn't have to do anything. Just every month it was just already there.
Yeah.
And that was
And
nice.
another thing some Nigerian men will do, they will leave their good paying jobs because they don't want to pay child support and go get many jobs, and report that, oh, they're not getting this. This is the income they're making now. They're not making as much as they used to do. And I think, I don't want to, I don't want to conclude, but I think that's what's happening,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is happening. That does
Yes.
happen everywhere. Or they get cash under the table.
Yes. Yes.
It's unfortunate.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Because somebody's still paying for the kids, right?
Yeah, somebody's still buying their clothes, and the kids every day they're growing.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks ago, I have to order a set of new pants, new shirts for my son because he's growing tall,
Yeah.
you know. And it's so funny because in my own case, when they go to his house, he doesn't, if he gets them stuff, he doesn't let them bring it over to my house,
Mm.
you know. So he's like, no, you don't take it to our house. You leave it here. And the kids are more with me than they are with him. So, but I'm just like, you know what? Sometimes people are petty. You have to show. I remember Michelle Obama saying that when they go low, we go high. So you
Mm.
always have to go high. You always have to. And I know as women, we don't do it for ourselves. We do it for our children. So you always have to think of, okay, even if he is not seeing it that way, you have to be the bigger person and take care of the needs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this has been absolutely great. I so appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your story. And I know that it will inspire other women who live in similar cultures to, that, hey, sometimes this happens and everything's going to be okay.
Definitely, everything will be okay. It's a process, it's a journey, and that's why I encourage women not to walk it alone.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-mm. Let's
definitely.
create a community where we can support each other and be there for each other. It's
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah, definitely. So if you could do me a favor, let us know where people can find you on social media. What are some things that you have going on where people can join you?
Okay, right now I have my podcast, which is Single Again with LFA and Bab. We throw out new podcast every Wednesday of the week. We just concluded our first session a month ago where we had 10 good episodes. You can find us anywhere and everywhere you listen to your podcast. It's Single Again with LFA and Bab. And I'm doing something on YouTube and Facebook, which is raising multicultural children in the United States. And it's a mother's burden, raising multicultural children in the United States. I am on YouTube. My YouTube channel is raising multicultural children, mother's burden, raising multicultural children in the United States, up with Omolola. And Single Again, you can find us on Instagram. It's just SA with LFA and Bab. You can find us on Facebook. Our Facebook community is kind of a close community because we respect privacy. We don't want people to feel like anybody can just come in and be judgmental. It's a no judgment zone. So you can just click to join and, the back end will let you in. I think there are some few questions you have to answer, but I think we're taking that off. But you can find us there on Facebook. Just type Single Again with LFA and Bab. It's a small community. And join us, share, and support. It's a community where we want to come together and support ourselves as Single Again parents.
Beautiful. I love that. Well,
Thank
I
you.
love what you're doing. I am incredibly proud of you. And I do know that your children are going to so benefit from the new mindset that you have taken on. And I can just tell from talking to you that you're going to continue to learn, you're going to continue to evolve, and the cycle that you have broken will lead on for generation after generation, which will be awesome for you and your family tree.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on your show. And you're a blessing to everybody. Thank you. This is awesome. Thank you.
Well, that brings us to an end of yet another incredible episode of Her Talk Show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Lola, for your wisdom and your inspiration. To my listeners, make sure you follow, like, and share this podcast wherever you're at so we can inspire more individuals to step up in their world and to live authentically.